What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the A-Side. I am your host, Riley, and last night, I was scrolling through TikTok, as one does on a Monday night when you are by yourself, and I came across a video of Joji at Coachella, performing his hit song, Slow Dancing in the Dark, and quite frankly, it blew me away. I thought the song was so beautiful. It struck me so much that I immediately went to Spotify and listened to the song Slow Dancing in the Dark. And I hadn't really thought much of Joji before, at least his music. I listened to Nectar when it came out in 2020 and thought it was fine. But Slow Dancing in the Dark really touched me in a way I have a hard time putting into words. The production and the sad vibes of the song. It is a very vibey, low-key song with these kind of beautiful, quiet vocals and falsetto, and these just gorgeous, gorgeous sounding electronics. It was really just out of this world. And I knew I needed to hear more. And the other thing that really struck me about seeing that performance of Coachella is I just thought it was very strange, but in a good way, and of seeing Joji in front of this huge audience at the biggest music festival in the world, all these people singing his song back to him, and it meaning something to them so much, and it touching them the same way it touched me, after the feelings I've felt, and the feelings these people have felt, that Joji's song can touch them like that. And it's so weird seeing that, because I remember Filthy Frank as it was happening. And a lot of people who listen to Joji and know him from the mainstream don't know about Filthy Frank. And that's where Joji got his start. I remember Filthy Frank and Pink Guy. I remember all the memes from back in 2015, 2016, which was kind of like an integral part of my life. So those memes kind of very much are in my memory, burned in my memory, It's time to stop! Or I'm the trash man. Those memes. So now seeing Joji turn into this, R&B world superstar is just really strange to see. And I am, of course, today going to be reacting to the record that Slow Dancing in the Dark is on. Ballads 1. Anyway, if you're new around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. Anyway, let's get into it. It's not too long of an album, and we'll do the first track, Attention. I love the piano, right off the bat. It has such a sorrowful, I can never say that word, sorrowful, yet very nostalgic feel to it. Immediately off the bat, feeling very emotional. And you all know I love music that's super emotional. Ooh. The vocals are a little rough, but I like the vibes. I don't like the vocals here. They're actually kind of ear-grating. And not because they're quiet, but because of the weird... It sounds like his throat is dry. The way the bass is taking over the mix here, I actually kind of like that. Where it's so loud and overblown that everything is shaking. Oh, those synths in the background. or is it a piano? I think it's a piano run through a lot of filters. I like the musicality and vibes of this song a lot. I love the sound of it and the production. It's got such a pretty soft production to it, where it just sounds so good in the ears. And we'll get to that here in a second with the next track. So far on the first track, a lot of the vocals didn't do anything for me. I actually kind of disliked a lot of the vocals here. But the vibes of the song and the instrumentation, I really liked. I like how sad it feels. It sounds like what your heart feels like when you're sad and lonely and heartbroken. And that's really cool. And a really neat way of bringing that feeling to life with these sad yet nostalgic pianos. Like you're looking for a time that's gone far away that you can never reach again. And the synths and drum machines are so clean and so sanitized, but not in a bad way. In a way where they just sound like, I don't even know how to describe it. It has such a clean sound to it. And I really appreciate that because, yeah, sadness is done through lots of distortion and stuff in rock music, but it's interesting to see an R&B artist take it in a different direction where it's kind of clean and focused, kind of a focused sadness. It's interesting. Now, I'm going to give that the green. Despite its shortcomings, I enjoyed it. If you don't know my rating scale, if you're new around here, I give songs I don't like the red folder. I give songs I do like the green folder. And if I think a song is I'll give it the black GameCube controller. Anyway, the song that has got me to do this, Slow Dancing in the Dark, track 2. Not that. Immediately, I love the sound of the synths here. They just take you away and sweep you. It makes you feel like you're in the rain, just contemplating by yourself about everything that's happened. It's so beautiful. And Joji's beautiful vocals, George's vocals, are gorgeous and really bring out this dejected, sad feeling where he's kind of almost mumbling through his own pain. He sounds so dejected, and it just touches me. And I love the lyrics on this song. The synths, man. It's such a beautiful ballad. Give me reason we should be complete. And the piano here, the way it's just a cascade of these piano notes that come through, just make me feel like I'm ascending to another level. You Should Be With Him, I Can't Compete is a song that hits me right here. Beautiful. In the dark. I don't know if I hit that note. I'm sorry. The way that works right there, where it brings you so like close with his really beautiful hushed falsettos of I don't want to slow dance, and then all of a sudden he belts the In the Dark and the synths start to swell, is like the rising and falling of your emotions and sadness, as if almost it's like you're seeing the person you love here slow dancing with someone else, and it's the story of, you know, someone you have these feelings for being with someone else and how it feels in that moment. And you bring that rejection of, you know, I don't want to slow dance in the dark. I don't want this anyway. but in the end it's still very painful. And that's what that kind of reflects is, the soft and somber, I don't want to slow dance. And then the real kind of raw emotion hits him and it belts the In the Dark. And I probably sounded awful when I did it, but this song is just so beautiful. I could listen to this all day. It just sounds like the rain coming down. Walking through the places you used to know. The places you used to go. With that person now. Time's being passed. The amount of emotion this makes me feel, though. It's so gorgeous. And it's sadness. And it's not like a sadness like an Interpol record. I just talked about Turn on the Bright Lights, which is this super bleak, dark, depressing album. This is different. This is a more of a sentimental sadness. And that really hits me as someone who, I mean, you probably don't know this, I'm a really sentimental and kind of like romantic person. I'm like a sentimental lover boy who is just, like I said, overly sentimental about everything. And this kind of feeling connects with me a lot because this is your sentimental lover boy, sad boy music. And I think Slow Dancing in the Dark might be the peak of this kind of R&B sound of the late 2010s. I mean, it's no Blonde, but it's getting to that level of emotion like Blonde. If you get what I'm trying to say. Can you give me reasons to be complete? The percussion there was cool. It's just a gorgeous swelling of everything, really just hitting you. I don't know how to put into words the way that song really has made me feel since hearing it. Obviously, I'd heard it before this video, right? But it really just resonates with me in a way that's hard to explain. I sometimes have a hard time talking about the music I love the most. That's why I haven't done reviews of an album like The Devil and God Are Raging Inside of Me, or like a review of The Black Parade, or If You Can't Sweat Out. I have a hard time putting into words sometimes when the music that means the most to me, why it does and how it makes me feel. And Slow Dancing in the Dark is one of those songs that have hit me in the same way other songs that have been, I don't want to say life-changing, but very impactful on me have. I mean, like the first time I heard a song like When You Sleep, or like the first time I heard Jesus Christ by Brand New. When you hear a song and this hits me so hard, and now everything's different. It's one of those moments. And it's hard to explain that, where the first time you hear the song, everything's different afterward. And maybe that's a lot to put on one song made by fucking Filthy Frank, But wow, if you would have told me in 2016 that the guy with the funny voice and all those memes that said all that vile shit would make one of the most beautiful, heart-wrenching songs I'd heard, I would have laughed at you, and now here we are. Anyway, I've been talking for a long time. Let's continue with the review. Test Drive, track 3. This is going to be a very piano-laden album, I assume. Sometimes it's hard to react to an album that is as laid back as this, because it's more vibey, and you don't necessarily know what to say in places other than I just like the way it makes me feel. I've been looking for something like this. This really sad, like dripping with sadness and tears, trap-inspired moodiness. I love the production of this album. It just goes down so smoothly. I like the hi-hats here too. Sometimes I get really sick of hi-hats in popular music. The constant clicking will drive me insane. But it works here. I really like Joji's falsetto. And it's interesting because it's not like a flawless, clean falsetto like a lot of falsettos are. It's high and it's pretty, but it's also got a bit of grit and a bit of life to it. It feels like there's some life experience inside of that falsetto. There's pain in it. And not the kind of same melancholic, beautiful pain that you get from like a Beach Boys song. Rather, man, these last 2 weeks have been really rough. I'm heartbroken and on my last leg kind of pain. How there's raspiness and like almost if like you've been screaming, so now your falsetto isn't working the way it's supposed to. There's a past to that falsetto. And I know it's because of the Filthy Frank voice and a lot of that, but it really works for the feeling here. She don't wanna tell lies. She don't wanna tell lies. That piano. It really just pierces through the mix. I'm looking for a long ride. She just wanna test drive. That's a good lyric. I'm looking for a long ride. She just wants to test drive. Like, once again, the kind of relationship based is opposed to the relationship cringe that is. Joji here, being a sentimental lover boy, is looking for a true loving relationship where this person just wants a fling to fill the time. And that can hurt when you're just someone's distraction and not something real. So once again, call it melodramatic, call it cheesy, call it sappy, sentimental. It resonates with me, personally. Sacrificial life, waiting on the ones who didn't fight. I told you not to waste my fucking time. I told you never sing the song you like. You go jump. She just wanna feel alive. Ooh, those synths are really interesting. Like the low bassy synths. Well, another absolutely gorgeous song here. I like the moodiness of it. There's a certain... I have some trouble with trap music sometimes. But there's a certain moodiness it can convey sometimes. And I feel like having these hi-hats and the bass here, and then the piano and the actual like vocals and singing, with the kind of more real and emotional lyricism, really kind of brings out the moodiness in trap and brings it to a whole different level, and really executes it on the best level possible, because trap at its core is a moodier, darker hip hop is what it's supposed to be, and I feel like as it's become more mainstream, it's become very vapid and empty. Whereas the trap influence here is mixed with something that means something, at least to George, to Joji, and it creates such a vibe of this moody sadness that I have such a hard time putting into words, but it's just like nighttime walking down the street while it's pouring rain with tears in your eyes. That is the vibe I get from this record that I've heard so far. Test Drive easily gets the green. I am loving this record so far. So track 4, Wanted You. Weird. This is different. Definitely very different from what we've been hearing so far. I like the guitar. I really like that guitar line, actually. It feels kind of new wave in its melancholic feel. And I love the double-tracked vocals here. The way they're layered, it sounds like an army of Jojis singing at me. And I can't understand what he's saying, but his vocals and melody still tells me what he has to say on an emotional baseline. Oh my god. I love those chime sounds, where it's like a curtain chime and you run your hand across it and it makes that kind of sparkly fairy magic sound. Speaking of songs that you hear and everything changes, Pictures of You by The Cure was one of those songs for me. And that song has the of the sparkly chimes. And ever since hearing Pictures of You, that is something I've loved in music ever since. Yeah. Great stuff. That was a gorgeous moment. This. I have a friend who played percussion in high school, so he used to play that. I love the way the vocals sound. How they're so muddy and dreamlike. Oh, and the way it's bouncing from year to year. This song is giving me really big Blonde vibes. This whole record's kind of giving me Blonde vibes, though. Although this rock guitar solo is out of nowhere, I appreciate it quite a bit. Really changing things up and throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what works. And keeping you on your toes. Because the thing with a record like this is an album that is so sad and vibey that you have the synths and the drum machines and the sad, low, quiet vocals, it can sometimes a record like this can get repetitive or sleepy. Whereas this record has stayed pretty consistently beautiful. That beautiful vibe can diminish as you keep doing the same thing for 30 plus minutes. Whereas here, this song, Test Drive threw in the hi-hats and took more of a trap influence. This song took more of a post-punk and new wave influence with the melancholy guitars that sound like New Order, or the chimes and the percussion here that sounds like The Cure's Disintegration. Maybe not sound like, but are inspired by and give me very reminiscent vibes. Keeping things interesting and keeping it from getting stale, keeping me on my toes, while still staying consistent and cultivating the vibe and not becoming incohesive. Which is a very fine line to do, and I try not to be too picky about stuff like that, but when you can still be cohesive and keep things switched up, that takes a good album to a great album, if you understand what I'm saying here. Also, to anyone playing the radio, or to anyone playing the A-side drinking game, Radiohead Blade, drink. That was Wanted You. The record's called Ballads 1, so of course they're all going to be ballads, but another beautiful, heart-wrenching, emotional ballad I'm going to give the grain to. Even if I couldn't understand most of what Joji was saying, just through the vocals and his melodies and the vibe alone, I felt the sadness, and that's what really matters. Anyway, track 5, Can't Get Over You, featuring Clams Casino, who I have never heard of. Let's go. Wow, the vocals here. This sounds so Jack Stauber. With the, weird, synth boop, boop, boop. And the bit crushed, percussion. And then the weird, falsetto, whimsical, kind of strange vocals. Very much reminded me of, Buttercup. This song is really Jack Stauber. Kind of that obtuse, pop-esque sound. I don't know how to describe Jack Stauber for those who don't know. I love him though. Oh, that sounds so good. It almost sounds like strings. It's interesting. Oh, and the bass is cool. Oh, I love those vocals. The way it sounds like he's talking to her through the phone. The bass sounds great on the song too. Wow, this is amazing. Definitely the most... I don't want to call it a banger, because it's not. But definitely the most danceable song on the record. Now, I want to, very quickly, for those of you who don't know, show you this song. Already you can kind of hear the similarities. This is Buttercup by Jack Stauber. And it reminds me a lot of Can't Get Over You. Especially listen to the vocals here. I mean, the bass, the weird vocals, the kind of strange guitars going bow, 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 and then we got the synths here in a second, which I don't know if we'll get to. There, right? You guys hear it, right? That is not a dig, though. I love Jack Stauber. I love that song Buttercup. I especially love Oklahoma, and Tea Errors is really good too. He's got a lot of music, so I haven't heard it all, but I highly recommend just checking out some of his stuff. Pop Food is a really good record. Anyway, Can't Get Over You, I don't know if I said this already, it definitely gets the green. That song was amazing. Next track, yeah, right. The weird production on the piano here, and the like tape, the sound of it almost sounds like a tape running. And then the almost distortion on the, I don't want to say distortion, but the piano has this sound to it. Once again, just that rainfall is all it's bringing me to. She don't care if I die, yeah right, yeah right. The way the instrument dropped out there and it was just his vocals, I love that kind of stuff. I feel this one too. I won't go into detail, but oh, I love the piano sound on this song. The way you can hear the piano's timbre and hear it ring out. Well, what another gorgeous song on the record. Maybe not as much to say about the other songs with this one, but I still really liked it and still thought it was a good part of the record. I'm going to give that the green. Man, I'm quite frankly surprised with how good this is, which I shouldn't be after hearing Slow Dancing in the Dark and how that made me feel. I'm still... Now, a lot of people said that by far that is his best song. He hasn't ever made anything close to that. And I do agree and I don't, because thus far, yeah, that song is amazing, but this album is really good. And I'm just kind of shocked. Well, I see Joji get a lot of hate from a lot of music purists and elitists. And I didn't hate Nectar, but I didn't like it either. I thought it was fine. Whereas this record is really resonating with me. It's really working for me a lot. I love this so far. And I'm surprised, not only because of all the aforementioned reasons, but once again, just the idea of that Filthy Frank made this is wild to me. And I've always thought Joji's success was weird. And I always thought it was weird, like, seeing the music videos when Nectar came out, when I listened to that record and saw the music videos for it, because that was back before I used Spotify. I would see him in the music videos and just find it so weird, and see people like commenting and stuff, and his impact and his fan base and how big he's grown. It just strikes me as weird as someone who remembers all of the old Filthy Frank stuff. Anyway, Why Am I Still in LA featuring Deej, not the Deej from Bungie's Community, and Shlomo. I like that name. Shlomo. Yeah, let's do it. I like the fact that there's real bass on this record. This is very Tyler inspired. The falsetto vocals and then the like glockenspiel reminds me a lot of like something Tyler would do, like Smuckers or some stuff on Flower Boy. Beautiful though. And I really appreciate the more organic instrumentation I'm hearing. because they could have easily gone the simple route and the mass appealing route of using just synths and synth bass and drum machines, but instead decided to use real instrumentation to craft something beautiful sounding. I actually think the guitar sounds really good. The level of distortion on it. Oh, and the feedback. Oh my god. That's amazing. I love that kind of stuff, though. The washed out, super distorted, dreamlike guitars. I mean, it's not shoegaze, but it's reminiscent. I was not expecting this. Oh my god. It's like the Jesus and Mary train right now. And then it drops back into the somber quiet. That was a really cool moment and so subversive. Harmonies, man. Oh my god. Where's this been my whole life, dude? Oh, you guys are gonna be so mad at me for this one, dude. There are a lot of music elitists that don't like Joji, and I'm gonna lose a lot of street credit from this video, but I don't care. This record is gorgeous, man. Yeah. Wow. That was a really interesting song, as I did not expect it to take the turn it did. It started out as the typical kind of song on this record, being the quiet, more reflective, sad ballad, and then all of a sudden these guitars came in out of nowhere and became just louder and more distorted, until the middle section of the song sounded like I had just accidentally switched to Psycho Candy by the Jesus and Mary chain, and then all of a sudden went back to its sound. So subversive and surprising, but an amazing moment nonetheless. Why Am I Still in LA? Gets the green from me. So far, there hasn't been a bad song on this record, and that's really impressive. Track 8, No Fun. Oh. This song is a lot more upbeat sounding than the rest of them. I like the weird kind of slightly off-key synths. It's just the right amount of quirky.
Fuck my friends, they're gone. They all left one by one.
Ooh, this is a good change of pace.
They don't need no more fun. Yeah,
it's still sad there. Ooh.
I'm rich but my AC broke. Don't check no mail, no phone. And I tell them I'm not home. And I keep to myself.
Interesting, a song about isolation here. Very Radiohead-esque. Drink.
And I keep to myself. Who are you to pretend? And I know it's my fault. It'll never end.
Wow. This song is the anthem of my college experience thus far. In real life, I am very introverted and very shy. I don't have any new friends yet. So I kind of feel this song, being the introvert I am. I find it kind of hard to talk to new people. And I just like that this song is about me. I don't know. Not about me, but about someone like me. And I also really like the tone of the song. How it's still sad, but it's now a little more playful and a little more danceable. It's a lot less down in the mouth. It's much more upbeat sounding than the rest of the songs. I like the kind of weird, quirky, off-key, bright-sounding synths. It's more of a dance song, and I'm okay with that. giving me vibes like Hold Me Tight or Don't, or maybe a little bit of Love It If We Made It, Two Time, Two Time, Two Time, giving me like 2018. This record came out in 2018, didn't it? It's the best year ever for music. But it's giving me 2018 Fall Out Boy 1975 vibes. I mean, it came out in 2018, which is, if you've been following me for a while, know it's one of my all-time favorite years in music. To find for myself. No Fun gets a green. I already explained why I love that song. We're running a little late, so let's just continue and to come through. It's gonna be a bitch to edit! I should have broken this up in 2 parts, but I didn't feel like it. I love the timbre there of the. This song is very reminiscent of the first track, interestingly enough. I don't know if I like this one as much. Oh, those melodies are good though. The vocal layering, they're not really, not melodies, sorry. The vocal layering sounds really good there. I was trying to say harmonies, but they're not really harmonies, it's more just... Okay. You know, it's okay. This song isn't great. And that's okay. Sure, the rest of the record's been amazing. This song was kind of mid. I'm sorry, it didn't do much for me. That's not a reflection of the album as a whole. I just didn't think it was all that interesting in comparison to the rest of the tracks, and thought it was kind of bland. I'm gonna give that one the black GameCube controller. I know, the first thing that hasn't been the green folder in this entire review. I'm sorry, Joji stands, forgive me. Why am I being so dramatic? I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Come Through was just kind of meh. Not much else to say about it. It just didn't interest me much. But this song sounds very interesting from the get-go, as it's featuring the Rage Man himself, Trippie Redd. Now, you know, I like Trippie. I go back and forth on his music. I really liked that rock album he did in early 2021. And then he put out Trip at Night, which at first I loved. And then listening to it later on, I've kind of fallen out of hip-hop a lot lately. So listening to it later on, I was like, wow, this maybe isn't that great. But then listening to it again now, in this modern day, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is pretty cool. I like the rage beats a lot. I like how big and electric it sounds. And I even don't mind Pegasus. Pegasus, I think, takes on a very similar vibe to this album. The kind of really moody R&B inspired sides of trap are shown on that record, and despite it being way too long, I enjoy it. So let's see how they work together. I'm assuming it's probably going to be pretty good. I can't believe the video is almost an hour.
There's no more time, just lay it on me. If I lost my life, you can blame it on me. Are you ready or not? We can start right here. Take you on the rocks, so crystal clear. Are they talking to us?
It sounds like I'm being submerged into a pool of water in the middle of the night with blue lights lighting things up.
I would die for you. You would die for you. Suicide for you. R.I.P. I would
Okay.
die for you. R.I.P.
I'm okay. I'm okay with this.
I would die for you. R.I.P.
Huh. Yeah, I'm okay with Trippy being on here. At first I was like, a little hesitant, but I've come to the very sound conclusion, me being the sound civilized man I am. I'm okay with Trippy on here. I like it. That is so trippy. Oh my god. He does the same thing every time he's on a song, doesn't he? Ah! Alright. Yeah. I like that song, but it's definitely one of the weaker songs on the record. Which is weird, because it has the biggest name on the record, but also... I mean, this was the SoundCloud era, so perhaps Trippy wasn't as much of a household name then as he is now. I feel for sure Trippy Red is definitely bigger now than he was in 2018. I think most people know who Trippy Red is. It's cool though. One of the weaker songs on the record thus far, but I'll still give it the green. Why not? Okay, next track, X and XX, the penultimate track on the record. I like that melody a lot, and I like the vocal layering too. Pretty cool. Cool. Pretty cool, huh? I think it is. I like this song. Once again, the record does seem to be losing a bit of steam here in the last leg, but I don't think the songs are bad. Just not quite as gripping, interesting, or emotional. So that song seemed to fly by really quickly without really leaving much of an impact on me. I still thought it was fine. I just think maybe this album's losing a bit of steam. I'm still going to give X and XX the green. I mean, it took until track 9, or track 8, yeah, track 9, to kind of start to lose steam a little bit out of the 12-track album. So I'm not going to go ahead and say the album's trash or anything. I've loved this album thus far. But I think maybe near the end it's starting to just drag a little bit. Who knows? Maybe the next track will be amazing. This is last track. I'll see you in 40. Ooh. Some acoustic guitars. Wow. That's cool. The vocals and the synths kind of being on the same wavelength and then meeting each other together. That's so cool. This is way more experimental than the other stuff on the record. Okay, so I realized what the problem is, right? As this record has gone on, since about No Fun, which I love No Fun, but ever since then, that kind of super rich sound, the rich, dark introspective sound that was on tracks like Test Drive and Slow Dancing in the Dark was kind of gone. And here it is again, that kind of deep, dark, rich, sad sound that goes down so smoothly is back on this track. This song is cool though, how it's like has a stuttering beat. The like beat structure is weird. It's different. It's out of the box for what this record has established. I like that vocal melody a lot. And it fades back out into what the track was doing at the beginning. Interesting structure. I'm glad he went all out for the final song on the record and did something different. I like that. And I like that on this record, Joji wasn't afraid to step outside of his comfort zone and do things differently. And different tracks sound different. He's not afraid to incorporate some dream rock elements or new wave elements or elements of trap or pop. I appreciate that a lot, actually, that he had the guts to try something new after establishing a sound at the beginning of the record. And the record kept me on my toes and kept me guessing while still staying pretty much consistent tonally and never felt like it was an incoherent mess. Which takes a certain level of artistry to do that. I mean, very few bands can do like something different on each song and keep it consistent sounding. The Cure, Gorillaz, The Clash, maybe a little bit of Green Day, that's about all. The Beatles. Interesting. That was really cool. I am giving I'll See You in 40 the green, and I just thought that was a really cool record. I'm glad I took the time to listen to it and listen to it with you guys. While I do think Slow Dancing in the Dark is superior to anything else on this record, that's not saying too much because that song is gorgeous and amazing and did something for me that I didn't think the song would again for a really long time, honestly. The way that song made me feel when hearing it today and last night. Wow. And a lot of this record made me feel the same way. And it's hard to explain a record where, sure, I'm sure you could pick it apart musically if you wanted to be an elitist, but I sit down and hear this record and think a dark, sad night in the rain, and heartbreak, and isolation, and loneliness, and self-doubt. And I really feel all the feelings that Joji's bringing across here. It's an album that resonates with me a lot, and I feel it on a very emotional level. And that's the thing. Someone can sit here and hate on Joji and hate on this record, and I cannot convince them otherwise. I cannot tell them musically, why this album is amazing. Because the reason I think I like this album so much is because it's just feeling that is really propelling it forward for me. I do think the record is gorgeous. I love the production. I love the experimentation and the left turns it takes. I love the synth sound. I love the rich production and the darkness and the sadness, but it's mostly just the way it makes me feel. And that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this record. I hope you enjoyed this video. It might have gotten a little personal in places, but wow. I was not expecting Joji to be this good. Yeah. Anyway, that's all. I think I'll give Ballads 1 like a 9 minus, honestly. Hey all, Riley from the future here. So just a little caveat to that score. I think I was being a little too generous with the 9 minus. I think I'm going to actually bump that down to an 8 minus. The first like 9 songs on this record are amazing, but man, does it really start to drag in that second half. And I think I was just having too little too much fun during the reaction and gave it a bit of a higher score than I think it actually deserves. First half of that record is amazing. Slow Dancing in the Dark is still beautiful. But about track 9, track maybe even a little earlier than that, it really starts to drag. After No Fun, pretty much it really starts to drag and kind of get a little rougher to listen to. But that beginning leg was awesome, so I just wanted to throw that in there. Back to the rest of the video. First run of this record, pretty much this record from Slow Dancing in the Dark to come through was, or to No Fun, sorry, from Slow Dancing in the Dark to No Fun was amazing. It did start to lose a little bit of steam at come through, and the tension was good, but not as good as the other tracks. So yeah, that's what I had to say about that. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like down below. It helps out a lot. We're so close to 300, and I want to maybe try and get that before the 2-year anniversary, which is next month, by the way. That's wild. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.